Hello, everybody. This is the first official video for a new like page on Facebook, soon to be an actual channel on YouTube called Roll Initiative or +4 Initiative Bonus. That's what you can call me. What this like page slash YouTube channel is going to be about, it's going to be about my 19 plus years of role-playing experience, different stories that I've went through when it comes to role-playing, DMing experiences, the proper way on how to create a character for whatever system that you're currently running, correct ways on how to actually deal with troublesome players, because over the course of the 19 years, I have DM a time or two, and I know how to deal with certain quote-unquote player types, like wouldn't it be the cool if character, player, people like that. And essentially what this is going to do is basically give me an outlet to just talk and not, keep the world away from my vast knowledge that is role-playing. But what I'd like to start off today actually talking about here really soon, I'm actually going to be playing in a Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 game. I'm actually going to be playing a halfling bard who is a whip specialist. I'm the kind of player when I play, I'm the kind of player that I map out my level 1 through 20. Like, I know what I'm going to do, level 2. I know what I'm going to do level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know what feats I'm going to take. I know what skills I'm going to take. I know what weapons I'm going to take. I know what kind of, magic items I'm going to try to go and get. That's just the kind of player that I am. I like to have a structured, this is what I want. This is the way it's going to be, and this is how badass I'm going to be when I get to this point. And I'm playing a halfling bard by the name of Milo Proudfoot, who was a carny. That's about the best way to put it. His family owned a carnival, a traveling entertainment / carnival place. It was a whole event that when they showed up in the town, it was a whole event. They had the big grand top. They had, games, and they had a whole traveling circus that went with them, including lions and games and candy and food. And that's what his family did. His name is Milo Proudfoot, or Proudfoot Traveling Carnival was the name of it. And his father was the ringmaster. He was the very vocal, loud, talked a whole lot ringmaster, but he was also the lion tamer, and he was a master of the whip. That's what he did. His mother was the trapeze artist. She was the main trapeze artist, things of that nature. So you get the concept of like where the character's coming from. Now when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, halflings become of age at about 40. So from about 1 to 39, they are considered young. They're considered children, teenagers, preteens, whatever you want to call them. That's essentially what they are considered. So, for instance, in Lord of the Rings, Frodo. Frodo was in the book. He was like 42 years old, 42, 43 years old. He's a young adult. He's essentially like a 19-year-old in their culture. And that's essentially the way this character is. He's a halfling, and he's 45, so he's about 20, human way, he's about 20. But essentially, his father taught him how to use the whip. He got stuck out in the front of the carnival. He was the attractor. That's what he did. He, got people to come play the games, have a great time, things like that. So he was constantly in this process of talking to people and dealing with people all the time. And that kind of factors into him actually being a bard. So when it comes to bards in 3.5, Bards in the 3.5 they're essentially the same in 3.0, 3.5, 4th, and 5th edition. They're all basically the same. The only difference is in 3.5 and 3, they've only got about 6 levels of spells that they can actually cast, opposed to 5th edition where they got a little more, and cantrips and things like that work different in 5th edition and 3rd edition. But that's a whole other video I can get into. But essentially all we're doing that today is we're talking about this character, Milo. He's level 1. Now essentially what I want to do, since he is a whip specialist. So that's the biggest thing. That's the main thing that he uses is whip. He actually uses an item called a whip dagger. Now, what a whip dagger is, well, the way whips work in Dungeons and Dragons, especially in Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 and 4th and 2nd edition. Essentially, the way they work, they don't deal normal damage. They deal what's called subdual damage. So essentially what that means is when you take enough damage to equal your actual hit points, max hit points, and subdual damage, you're knocked out. That's how it works in 3.5. Now, that could take a long time, depending if you're a level 20 character and you've got like 400 and some hit points and you're trying to knock a character out with a whip or a slapjack or whatever you want to call it. It takes a while. So the mechanic doesn't really go over too well in 3rd and 3.5. But when there is a weapon called and especially another thing with whips, especially in 3.0 and 3.5, if somebody's wearing armor that is magical and got a +1 bonus or better, the whip deals no damage to them, period. End of discussion. Deals no damage to them because it's a whip and it already deals kind of damage, but not really. So I actually purchased for the character what's called a whip dagger. A whip dagger is essentially a normal whip, but on the actual whip itself, there is little barbs all down it. On the very end, a blade, about a 5 or 6 inch blade, is actually attached and woven into the leather itself. And essentially what it does is it moves that damage indicator from a subdual damage kind of doing stuff to actual damage, period, because that's what what it will actually deal. So it just deals a d6 damage. Unfortunately, it's not a finesse weapon or anything like that. Finesse weapons and different weapon modifiers and things like that is 5th edition, not 3.5. Once again, that's another whole other video we can get into later. But when it comes to this character, what I essentially want to do with this character is I want to become what's called a lasher. A lasher is a prestige class or a special class or whatever you want to call it. Basically, there's prerequisites for it. You got to have a +5 attack bonus, got to have weapon finesse whip, exotic weapon proficiency whip, which you get automatically because you're a bard. So that's the first thing I want to be. Basically, what a lasher is, think Indiana Jones. That's basically what they do. That's with all the whip tricks and the whip things and grabbing things and swinging with it. That's essentially what a lasher does. They are the master of the whip, period. That's what they do. Second thing I want to become is, it's a little funny, but I want to become what's called a pyrokineticist. They're in the extended Psionics Handbook. It's another prestige class, another special class. And essentially what they are is, they are a lasher that uses a psychic flame whip. So you've got all the cool, awesome stuff that the lasher can do, plus I can close my hand and create a flame whip with it and do all kinds of nifty, awesome special attacks and flame attacks and things like that. So essentially what I have created is a 2.5 foot tall pyromaniac. That's essentially what I've created. Well, the character himself, he deals a whole lot with this other character. It's another player. He created a character called Fred the Red. Fred the Red that's going to be another video that I'm going to do specifically on this character. He's a barbarian. He's big. He's dumb. He carries around a teddy bear dressed in like little armor and stuff. The teddy bear itself is almost its own character. Almost. It's like they went through this whole story and backstory with this character and the actual little teddy, which is a whole other story. We'll go into that later, which will be probably the next thing I do, which I thought was pretty cool. It's funny. My character is basically Fred the Red's handler. He kind of points Fred in a direction and lets him like pull the cord and just lets him like buzzsaw through stuff. So that's essentially what this character is. He's a talker. He's a gambler. He's got a little bit of a gambling problem. He's in a couple of bard guilds. He's in a guild called the Silver Tongue, which they're storytellers. Now, he's a bard. Now, when it comes to bards usually pick some kind of performance. Which it could be the lute, it could be a flute, it could be drums, it can be poetry, it can be storytelling. And I'm a character that is known as a scene chewer. I enjoy talking and living things up and talking very, very loud, things of that nature. And this fits pretty well into what kind of player I am. So he's a storyteller. And that's essentially what the Silver Tongues do. They are storytellers. They tell stories about legends, about people, about adventurers, and things like that. There's a couple other groups that he's a part of, but remember, he's only level 1. And we've not started the game yet. Now, I will give updates on what's going on with Milo, things of that nature. Now, on another note, I do run a Mutants and Masterminds game. And I am going to be doing a bi-weekly Mutants and Masterminds video because we play every other weekend. My group does. Basically, we got the Saturday game and we got the Monday game. The Monday game is usually a Dungeons and Dragons game. Not everybody comes kind of thing. And then you got the Saturday game, which is usually like Mutants and Masterminds. It's Paranoia. It's, Call Cthulhu, things of that, and they Feng Shui. The big games is what we consider them. White Wolf game, Changeling, Vampire, things of that nature. So I run the Mutants and Masterminds game. We've been running this game for probably 5 years, maybe 5, 6, something like that. So there's a lot of stuff in that we've already built for this game. Now, mind you, we've played Mutants and Masterminds there for at least 3 years straight, every other weekend for 3 years. So there is a lot of backstory, a lot of stuff. And I could do probably 30 videos just on backstory on the characters. And I probably will drop them in here and there, things of that. Now, I might actually get other people to actually do videos for this, my friends in my gaming group, to actually talk about their characters, things of that nature. Now, another thing that I'm going to be doing, especially, I don't know if I'm going to do it for Facebook, maybe might do it for YouTube, I'm not sure, but I am going to try to talk some people into actually doing a live stream game, which I think I would absolutely love. I think my players would love it, and I think you people specifically would like it. Now, I'm going to end the video here. We're getting close to the 14-minute mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell everybody to go ahead and share this with all your friends, poke them, make them like this page. The more people I get, the more stuff I'm going to do. Remember, I am a GM. I am also a player, and I'm here for you.